What is up, guys? Party Dirty here. This is where we cover all things party and all things dirty in the gaming space. And today we are taking a look at Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Season 3. And if you've been on the internet, Twitter, YouTube, you know that the community is rioting, okay? Pitchforks in hand with torches, okay, lined up, ready to brawl it out with the devs. Okay, they're not happy, and rightfully so. There was a lot of changes that were supposed to happen in this update that just didn't. But what this video is mostly about is the content creator side. There's a lot of drama going on that content creators hyped up this update via Twitter or YouTube videos, and then it didn't deliver. And so now people are upset at the content creators. And now you have content creators that are like, well, it wasn't my fault. So, and while I mostly agree, there are parts of that that I think I don't agree with. And we're going to go into that in this video. We do have a video of JoeWo kind of talking about his perspective of it. And so I wanted to kind of dissect a few things and go a little bit deeper into these thoughts and just my opinion. So we're going to roll straight into it, okay?
I'm trying to think.
Weird day.
Very weird day. I would say today is probably the worst day we've ever had in Warzone history. So basically today, as all of us know, that the new season was supposed to drop today, and prior to this new season, we had a call with the developers and stuff like we usually have, and we're promised a lot of things. We didn't get to play the update before everybody else, so we got to see everything when you guys got to see everything. So when we were hearing from the developers that all these things were being changed, it was very, very promising. And I was thinking, and like everybody else was also thinking, that the game and the developers would deliver on that promise of all of these changes. And then
I would like to know the specifics of what changes were said in this phone call. You know, I don't think anyone's really come out with, hey, this is like the exact word for word of what they said to us, which is why we said this to you all. I would really love to hear that exchange and the real fine details of these calls if they're allowed to talk about them. But I think that is a missing factor of like, was it said that slide canceling was coming back? Was it said that bunny hopping was coming back? Or did they just say, hey, very big changes to movement are coming? And then it was up to the creators to kind of just come up with their own interpretation of that and then tell us what they thought it meant. Because if that's the case, that's a huge problem. They shouldn't have said anything to us and just say they were very vague. We have no idea what's happening. I would love to know the specifics of those phone calls.
Then when the season came out and all of us actually played, we realized a lot of the things that they promised did not happen. Which then a lot of people took that to social media and then kind of used creators as a scapegoat because I thought that the game was looking in the right direction because of the things we were promised. I don't really mind trolls that much. Trolls will always just be a thing. It's the internet. But when I have other creator friends and people that I consider my friends, creators, that are quoting my tweets, calling me out, poking fun at things as it's just jokes. It's the internet. People don't get jokes. People don't understand sarcasm. So it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way that there's other creators that are trying to point the fingers at people like myself for a bad update. We heard the same thing. We were all promised.
I don't think they're pointing the finger at you for the entire update being bad. I think people are upset that they trusted you, they trusted what you said, and it turned out that it wasn't true. And while you're just the middleman, you know, relaying info from the devs to us, you do take on some sort of responsibility when you take on that role. So while it's not the creator's fault, they do play a part in it. You know what I mean? You're not just completely free of like, oh, wow, you know, but you're kind of putting your stamp of approval on these messages and you're putting your stamp of approval on the update, you know? And so when you have a community based upon your validity with Call of Duty content and people trusting you, and then it turns out that this isn't real, rather than being upset at people being upset at you, you should honestly look at the devs and be like, why are you doing this to us? Just because they don't trust you to tell them what's going on in the update doesn't mean that we have to take on that role now, you know? And because what's happening is, since we don't trust the developers, they're using these creators to say, well, they trust you, so you tell them. But then what's going to happen over the long term is now we're not going to trust these creators. And I think if they keep doing these calls and they keep playing these games with the devs, it's going to be bad for them.
Promised the same thing. And now somehow it got turned to be my fault and other creators' faults. And that just really kind of blew my mind that it seemed like a lot of people were trying to get on the good side of Twitter and be like, oh, this isn't me. I would have never done that. Like they didn't do the same thing for every single update and be like, oh, I didn't gas up this update. It's the same people that do it every season.
They're so adamant about them update that don't even want the game to improve.
People don't even want the game to improve. They just want to complain. If the update was incredible, people would have found something to complain about.
Now that's true.
Like
that's true.
today was probably the worst moment for the Warzone community I've seen in a very long time. Again, the trolls don't really bother me, but seeing like mutual friends that are saying things on stream, sending hate to be like, go tell Joe, like he's an idiot and like this is all his fault. To say that, and then it happened to be like, oh, it was just jokes, just blows my mind. And I feel like my friends that are creators should know way better than that. I mean, honestly, overall, just streaming the game all day, trying to kind of see the game as a positive way, maybe things could get fixed, and just seeing negative vibes of people, negative vibes of chat, and just people that just are saying the most out-of-pocket, reckless things over a Call of Duty update that we all wanted to be good. And I know there's a lot of people that is usually the silent majority of people that really don't care, that just play the game for fun, which I completely understand that. And I'm glad that you guys are probably happy, and either way, you guys are gonna be happy, and you just play the game, which is incredible. But I know there's the...
See, I think there's an important thing there, right? That the people of these Twitter pages, you know, Charlie Intel, Modern Warzone, creators like JoeWo or what's his name, J God, you know, they think that they have some giant voice, right? That we can inflict change by talking about it. And I just don't think that you can, because you're not the target audience. You're no longer the target for this game. Casual players are. People that, you know, have money to buy the bundles and they only play for a little bit of time, so they're going to pay for the battle pass to get sped through. They don't have all the time to grind it out on their own. They're the target audience. Casual players are now the target audience. So I think it's very important to know that, like, the Twitter community for COD and the YouTube community for COD are just small minority niche groups. Competitive players are just a small niche. So you could disappear from the game entirely and Call of Duty would exist without us. And you have to realize that.
Other side, myself included, that's very, very passionate about the game. And that's why we're very vocal. And people keep saying, you're doing this to get paid.
You guys don't get paid, right?
We get zero, big fat $0.
I don't know where it came from that they get paid.
The narrative came from that creators are getting paid.
Yeah.
We didn't even get creator code. We don't even have a creator code. Creator codes have been done since Warzone 1. That was the only funding from Call of Duty that we've ever gotten besides tournaments that we won. There is $0 being funded to creators that are on these developer calls. So I don't know where that narrative came from, but we are getting no money from Call of Duty. I'm so vocal about it because I want the game to be good. I don't know anybody that is just gonna sit back and be like, the game is great, and just let bad things happen or not voice opinions. And people...
My issue with this is, just because the game isn't good to you doesn't mean the game is bad. There's a lot of people out there. There's a very large player base that is enjoying Call of Duty. And I want to clarify, I am not. I am not part of that group. I don't like Warzone or the state that it's in. I don't play it. But that's as simple as that. I don't like it, so I don't play it. There's other games out there that can fill that for me. Apex has been super fun. I plan on playing Fortnite. We've tried X-Defiant. We tried Caliber. There's all sorts of different games out there to go and play. So just because Warzone isn't good for me doesn't mean Warzone is bad. You know? If it was bad, they wouldn't be like the biggest release of all time. You know, this Call of Duty was the biggest, most selling Call of Duty of all time. And that's coming off of Caldera or, you know, Vanguard and Cold War, which I didn't like those either. But you have to just understand that, again, we're not the target audience. There's plenty of people that are enjoying this game, and just because I see it as bad doesn't make the game bad. It doesn't have what I want anymore, so I move on.
People say, well, you're just playing a game, bro, like blah, 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 which I do understand that. I think anybody would be a fool to say that they would not actually voice an opinion about something that's their career. If you do something 10 hours a day and you know that something could work better, you're gonna voice your opinion to your boss, to your job, to whoever, because you know, hey, this is, I do this all day, every day. And that's why I'm so vocal about, hey, this should be changed. We should fix this. Let's approach this differently. Instead of just sitting back and being like everybody else and being like, the game's...
Yeah, if you were doing that at your work, so say you're at work, you know, you're head of marketing, right? And so you go to the CEO of the company and you're like, I think we should market this way. And the CEO goes, nope, not about it. And you could have every, you know, numeric or metric that says this would be beneficial, but ultimately it's up to them. If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. So you have two choices, right? You either go about your day and you say, okay, and you just take the L and you keep working at this job, or you quit and you go find somewhere that's better, that's doing it the right way. So why wouldn't you just leave Call of Duty? If you're not happy with it, then leave and go play something else. That's how you inflict change. You know, if you bring your community away and you say, hey guys, if you're not happy, we're not going to be playing Call of Duty anymore. We're just not going to be playing Call of Duty, not going to involve myself. I don't agree with the direction it's going in. And the best way to inflict change is by not giving them my money and by not giving them my time. That's the only way. But by continuing to play and continuing them to give them your time and having your tens of thousands or millions of people that you have, you know, seeing you play this game, it keeps traffic going to Call of Duty, right? And I think a lot of these creators their career revolves around Call of Duty being successful, at least for a short time. Because if Call of Duty isn't successful and they're not playing Call of Duty, their numbers drop. I've heard big streamers say it. You know, I've heard TP say, he's like, I want to play Destiny, but like when I don't play it, it's a very noticeable thing that happens that my viewers go down. I had it. I'm very small, but there was a period in time where I had 60, 70 concurrent viewers playing Call of Duty. And then when I didn't, I'd have 10 or 20. So I had to reevaluate my style and my content. But a lot of these people rely on Call of Duty being successful. And it's very important to them in their career.
It's great. Now, you could ask anybody that has actually sat with me at a table with the Call of Duty developers. I'm one of the most vocal people ever, and I tell them how it is and say, this is why your game is bad. Now, whether they listen to me or not, I know that I'm 0.00001%. That's on them. But I'm never going to sugarcoat if something is bad, like this update was bad. And I think that sending hate to creators that were being optimistic about something that we were told, we didn't get to play Season 3. I see people saying, you got to play it, you should know. We didn't get to play it. We played the update at the same time as you guys did. So when we're being told things, you would think that what we're being told would actually be true when the update drops. And that.
See, but if you're not being paid, it would be in your best interest to make sure that you tell everyone, this is just what we're told. It may not happen. It could all be bullshit. But this is what we're being told. You know, and I'm sure some people did. But for the most part, I actually saw, you know, these popular pages lashing out at people in their comments saying, well, how dare you, you know, be so negative towards it. If you don't like it, you know, that's your fault and all this stuff. And it's like, hey, I think everybody needs to take this shit with a grain of salt. My expectations were so low for this update that it was almost impossible to disappoint me. Okay? I was basically thinking, okay, the update's going to come out, the game's going to be unplayable. So if the state of the game was even a little bit playable and a little bit better than what it was before, I was like, this is pretty good. And that's what happened. Like, the movement changes were positive, very, very small, but they were positive. The pacing of the game feels a little bit better. Time to kill feels a little bit better. Therefore, in my opinion, making it a good update. Is it where I want it to be? Absolutely not. Am I going to play it every day? Hell no. But it's a step in the right direction. I think it's a little too late. I think halfway into the game's life cycle is a little too late. But again, I'll try again next Call of Duty, you know?
Then to be getting death threats saying that I hope that your mom dies of cancer like your dad did. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
like, how have we
but
gotten so
dude,
far
you can't listen to them.
From playing a video game like Call of Duty that we all love and enjoy to then sending death threats to people. Today was definitely probably the worst
Sad.
update or most overpromised update we've ever had. And I hope that Call of Duty does something to fix this because we have ranked play coming in under a month. We have no TTK improvements like we thought that we would. The movement changes that we were promised don't seem like they were very promised. And all these updates, servers included, didn't happen. And we had multiple updates throughout the day that added stuff back in that should have already been in the update. And we have a $1.2 million tournament coming up, and we can't even load into a private match. I mean,
that's been around since Warzone 1.
Gotten to this, but I don't even know what to expect or say anymore.
If you were able to have just a straight up one-on-one right now with Call of Duty, what would you say? You know what I mean?
I would say first steps, the patch notes today, as all of us saw them, were very vague. When we're seeing things like movement and outplayability is now going to be in this season, that sure sounds like we're getting an incredible buff to movement. Outplayability. Those notes should be very specific of what's going on. It should not be vague, open. I saw some people like, well, it was open to interpretation. Okay, but it's the patch notes though. This is the facts of what's going on in the patch. It shouldn't be open to interpretation. It should be, this is what's going on, this is what's changing, exact word for word, and not you guys can kind of decide on your own what you think that'll mean.
Do you just flat out think creators should be able to play test?
100%. It's true. I feel like honestly every update, but especially this update, it blows my mind how, and again, I don't code, so
I really think that Call of Duty should almost have like a PTR in a sense, testing updates before they go live and allowing people to dissect it, and also allowing people to play it and say, okay, this update's going to be ass. You know, before we fully commit to it, let's play it, you know, but that would also sell out Call of Duty. Then they could no longer bait people in to, hey, this update's going to be really good. We're telling you it's going to be really good. We're telling you all these changes are happening. And then it just launches, and then everyone goes on to play to see if the changes happen, and then they don't, so they get off. A PTR or like a test server or some sort of testing space, okay, would just sell them out, right? Because you'd get these little patches in there, and you'd be like, okay, nothing has changed. It is still the same game. So then when the season comes around, no one's going to play it, right? It would be very bad for them. It'd be good for us, bad for them, so they don't do it.
I'm not saying that I'm a professional computer coder. If I did this, not at all. But you're a billion-dollar company, and they're just missing the most simple things in the game. It seems like that their own developers aren't even playing. They're not even playtesting. What they should do is, and I'm not saying that creators should get special treatment, but I'm trying to be a voice for everybody. I'm not saying bring back slide canceling and everything else. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying to improve the game overall, they should have creators play testing the game, and I guarantee you in under 30 minutes, I could have had a list of things that should have been fixed before this update even dropped.
I just think creators aren't the target audience, okay? I may have said that already, but I just don't think content creators are the target audience. Sweaty, highly competitive, super good players aren't the target audience. If they had everything that they wanted, the game would be unplayable for casuals. You know, like look at Apex or something like that. The game is incredibly sweaty, and it makes it very hard to sit down and just play for a little bit and kind of go brain dead and then have a few hours to yourself. You can't. You have to log on and play for your life every second, okay? And so I think Call of Duty has shifted to where casuals are the target. They don't want content creators testing it because they aren't looking for their approval. You know what I mean?
So a lot of people saying, why is it rank play here for Season 3? I'm like, before rank play comes out, I hope they fix all the bugs. That was before even the update came out. I said, I'm glad it's waiting because I already know when the season drops, all the bugs that we've always had, it's gonna happen again. If you are just doing kind of the same thing over and over every day, which I'm assuming that devs are doing, kind of changing up the game and things like that, you're gonna miss things. In our own lives, if we're doing the same thing every single day, and someone like a friend or family kind of sees that from an outside perspective, you may miss something that you're doing wrong every day, but they could see it instantly because you're just in the normal vibe of your work or your day or your kind of life routine. But if they're at work doing the normal kind of routine of what they're doing, they may miss certain things that somebody else could catch in an instant that aren't doing their job. And that happens outside of gaming in life when you're just going through the same things every single day or trying to do something, and then somebody else comes in and they see a new perspective, then it could click and be like, oh, I didn't even notice that until you pointed it out. And I think that's why they need to have creators play testing early so things like this don't happen.
Well, that makes sense, and it's true sometimes. Like sometimes people are able to come in and give you an alternate perspective and point out things that you didn't notice because you're so, head down into what you're doing. It's also like there's so many circumstances that someone coming in and just giving you an idea, it's like, well, you don't even know why I'm doing what I'm doing. You don't know the purpose behind what I'm doing. And so their idea, I'd say, majority of the time is irrelevant because they don't have the context of what's going on. And I think the same thing applies here. Content creators can give them all the advice they want, but ultimately, if it doesn't align with what Activision and Infinity Ward are trying to do, they're gonna be like, okay, and then they're just gonna go about their day.
Call of Duty, I am very disappointed in what we were told, and what I fell for, and a lot of people did too. So
I feel bad for them. I really do.
I'm a sellout and all that. I apologize if you think that. Sorry for the people that listened to what I was promised and took that for word.
I hate that apology. Like, hey, I'm sorry that you did this. It doesn't vibe well with me. I feel like that's just a lack of taking on responsibility. That you do play a part in this, a small part. And while it's not entirely your fault, and I do feel bad that you got drug into this, it's still, you still play a part, buddy. And I don't think that's an appropriate apology to say, hey, I'm sorry you guys trusted me, and I'm sorry you guys, I'm sorry I hyped this up so much, and then you actually believed it. I don't think that's their fault. You're a role model and a trustworthy person for a lot of these people. So you do bear some responsibility, and I'm a little upset at that apology, to be honest.
And sorry to the people that expected more of Season 3. I don't work for the game, so I wish that I could kind of vouch for it better or get more things changed that I would like to have changed. But I guess going from here, I'm going to be, I guess, the glass half empty type of person when it comes to Call of Duty updates. Everything else, I'll be the glass half full, positive
Welcome
person.
to the club, big dog.
This is probably the most, not negative vibed video, but just kind of sit down video we've ever had on the channel regarding a game that all of us love, to be honest. And I try to not even kind of see the trolls and all of the just BS drama and all that anyway, because at the end of the day, we're all playing a video game that we love. All of us have loved Warzone since the pandemic. All of the creators that are having drama and moaning and complaining and everything else, like, we're literally having a dream job. We get to play video games for a living, and that is because of you guys supporting us. And for the last thing for the video, the people that showed me love today, you guys know, you guys mean the literal world to me. I can never say that enough, even though it's kind of a, down video. Overall, the people that either comment on videos like this one, show up in stream, send me DMs, responses, like, that means more to me than you guys will ever know. And I think that the very, very silent minority of people that complain got the best of a lot of people today and of creators today. And the people that are usually just like, yo, Joe, we love you. If the game's trash, we still love you. If it's amazing, we love you still. I feel like that's the majority of people. So thank you guys. You guys mean the freaking world to me, and I say that all the time. I mean it. You guys have blessed me to literally get to do something that I love to do every single day and have that as a full-time career. And I'm blessed, unbelievably blessed, to say that, and that's because of you guys. So thank you always. Vibes up. See you guys soon. Peace.
Ultimately, like, a really good video. And like I said, I do agree with some things, but as a casual, lowly small streamer, small content creator, and someone who also looks up to these people to give me proper information, I really wish they would honestly take a little bit more responsibility. And I hope they are careful with involving themselves with the developers in the future, because it shouldn't be their responsibility to tell us what's going on, okay? It should be the devs. And the issue is, we don't trust the devs. The devs know we don't trust them, so they've pawned that responsibility off onto these creators, and now they're paying the price for these updates being bad. So please be careful. If you're trying to make Call of Duty content and you have a giant community and you're hyping up these updates, be careful, okay? Because you're going to push away people that trust you by getting sucked into this greedy, just nonsensical company that doesn't even care about the players anymore. And so I guess that basically wraps it up, guys. The Season 3 update isn't that good. It made some positive changes. The game isn't where I want it to be. But if you love Call of Duty and you're happy with where it's at, which I think a lot of people really are, then keep playing, okay? Don't stop playing because someone told you to. Don't play the game because someone is telling you. Just play whatever you want to play, okay? And with that, we're out of here. I appreciate you guys watching. Stay dirty, and I'll see you in the next one.